You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe coming to you from Los Angeles, California. It is November 26, 2020. Tonight, we have updates from several of our correspondents across North and Latin America. And today is the American Thanksgiving Day, and Joanne Soriano in New York reports about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade reimagined as a television-only event. May Davila in Ciudad de Panama reports about the Panamanian government acquiring 3 million doses of vaccine against COVID-19 from Pfizer and Biontech. New Jersey Bureau Chief Carlo Valdez reports about Newark, New Jersey beginning its 10-day shutdown to control COVID-19. Nicole Adeline Padilla Baton Rouge reports about Louisiana stepping back to phase 2 due to a spike in COVID-19 cases. Chai Masaga in Waldorf, Maryland.
Wide-scale compliance, education, enforcement operation in Maryland kicks off.
Anna Cui in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas businesses cited for COVID safety measure violations.
Rafaela Tigno in North Hills, California.
1 out of 145 in LA County is COVID infectious.
Tristan Diaz in Bakersfield, California.
Los Angeles organizes 32 grab-and-go events to provide meals and feasts for hundreds of families throughout the county as part of their Parksgiving program.
Kay Regalado in Woodland Hills, California.
Los Angeles opened San Fernando Park as one of the city's COVID-19 testing supersites.
Aika Chong in Fremont, California reports about Alameda County health leaders combating COVID testing gaps. Jane Kathleen Gregorio takes us to Cancun as she speaks to tourists about workers and about their thoughts about traveling during the pandemic. Plus, El Marie Gonzalez introduces us to a Mississippi salon owner as they talk about operating a business amid COVID-19. Our coverage begins now. First, an overview of today's COVID-19 numbers. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University and Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, November 26, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 60,174,000. Top 3 on the list of countries with recorded cases are the U.S. with 12.7 million, India with 9.2 million, and Brazil with 6.1 million. To date, more than 1,417,000 have succumbed to this virus. Top 3 countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are, once again, the U.S. at more than 261,000, Brazil at more than 170,000, and India at more than 134,000. Today is Thanksgiving Day in the U.S., and while there are a lot of things not happening because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is still on, only this year it's a television-only event. A lot of us are saying, we'll take it. And New York Bureau Chief Joanne Soriano reports.
An American tradition, the 94th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade has been reimagined as a television-only event to be telecast for millions of viewers nationwide. The annual production forgoed marching down the traditional 2.5-mile route in Manhattan and was produced over the course of several days leading up to the live Thanksgiving Day broadcast. This decision was made by the Macy's team along with its partners in the city and state of New York in the interest of safety and to avoid gathering large crowds.
You know, 2020 has had a lot of difficulties. So we really felt like it was important for us to try to bring back a sense of normalcy, to ensure that we are there for everybody Thanksgiving morning, to provide a little bit of fun, a little bit of entertainment, and some lightness to some pretty heavy times.
The scaling back included reducing the number of participants by 88%, split over 3 days. All participants, staff, and performers were tested for COVID and underwent wellness checks prior to participation.
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is so special because I think it's such a tradition for so many people. Figuring out how to make sure it happened this year safely, I think it's important because it gives everyone that sense of holiday and vibes that bring back old memories. And it's just good that we have that staple and we can have it just playing on the background in the TV, even if we can't be there, you know?
A selection of signature giant character balloons were flown without the traditional 80 to 100 handlers and instead employed a framework of 5 specialty vehicles. Added to the roster of giant balloon characters were Boss Baby and Red Titan from Ryan's World. The impact of the pandemic canceling some of New York City's arts, entertainment, and cultural events was a huge loss felt by both New Yorkers and visitors alike. To give viewers a glimpse of some of these beloved events, this year's parade featured a selection of performances that had to scale back, cancel, or indefinitely postpone their events. In New York, Joanne Soriano, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you.
Thanks, Joanne. Now on to COVID news. The Panamanian government announces it will acquire 3 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine from Pfizer, Panama, and Biontech SE. This as a gesture of commitment to its citizens to provide a safe and effective vaccine against COVID-19. In Ciudad de Panama, Eagle News correspondent May Davila reports.
The national government announced today the agreement with Pfizer Panama and Biontech SE to acquire 3 million doses of its candidate BNT162b2 vaccine against COVID-19, subject to the success of the clinical study and regulatory approval in 2021. According to the statement by the President of the Republic, Nito Cortizo, the terms of the agreement are based on the timeline for deliveries and the volume of doses progressively during the year 2021, with prior approval of the Ministerio de Salud at the request of the national government. In his statement, the President reiterated the government's commitment to provide the Panamanian population with a safe and effective vaccine to combat the pandemic as soon as possible, for which the Cabinet Council has approved the corresponding disbursements. According to the President, quote, "The objective is to ensure that it is a duly authorized and licensed vaccine to permanently control the current coronavirus pandemic and make it available in Panama in the shortest possible time." It was reported that the national government's first condition for this acquisition is that it be a vaccine duly tested and authorized by the World Health Organization. In the search for a safe and effective vaccine, Panama also establishes agreements with other companies on a bilateral basis. In addition to joining the COVAX facility, the mechanism established by the Global Alliance for Vaccination, the Coalition for Innovations in Epidemic Preparedness, and the World Health Organization, which aims to provide governments with early access to a broad portfolio of COVID-19 candidate vaccines. Desde Ciudad de Panama, May Davila, Eagle News. Vivimos en tiempos interesantes.
Thank you, May. In New Jersey, the city of Newark begins its 10-day shutdown in a serious effort to mitigate the further spread of COVID-19 following a resurgence of infections. Bureau Chief Carlo Valdez reports.
Thanks, Alan. As the COVID-19 cases continue to skyrocket in the state and all over the nation, Newark, the largest city in New Jersey, and its residents has been instructed to stay home for 10 days. This began on Wednesday, November 25, and will last until Friday, December 4. The shutdown is not enforced. However, Mayor Ras Baraka highly encouraged this action as the COVID-19 cases continue to increase. Mayor Ras Baraka said, "We're shutting down and we fully expect everybody to comply with our shutdown. All businesses, every business except supermarkets, pharmacies, and gas stations and laundromats. And we expect those places to close at 8 p.m. All restaurants can do takeout until 8 p.m., but we expect everybody to be closed." The mayor also mentioned that he did not want to go back to April and May figures when coronavirus cases were at its peak. And speaking of coronavirus figures and numbers, New Jersey reports of 4,565 new positive COVID-19 cases, pushing the total to 322,378. Sadly, New Jersey is reporting 39 new COVID-19 deaths, pushing the total to 15,096 lives lost. In Union Township, New Jersey, Carlo Valdez, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Thanks as always, Carlos. When we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Waldorf, Maryland, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Bakersfield, California. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
It says the best defense is still containment.
We are in uncharted territory.
Silent volume 450. If I want to 100%. Standing by. Construction eh.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
Yun na kaagad ang opening!
Ang masasabi ko lang sa'yo, sobrang napakagaling mo.
You are now a star.
Ang galing-galing mo.
Know your bet ngayong Know Them Best.
Dahil it's our third Monty Finals, panoorin ang bakbakan ng Monty Finalists sa stage. Level up performance sa kantahan. At sayawan.
Bust the rhyme now. MOP now.
Ramdam na ramdam ko dito na talagang binigay ninyo yung 100% ng pagkatao nyo sa performance ninyo.
Yung energy nyo talaga consistent. Talagang na-entertain kami.
Sobrang ramdam ko yung bigat. Kasi alam ko nahihirapan kayo, di ba?
Dito lang po yan sa
Tagisa ng Galing Part 2
Singing
and Dance Edition.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. Maryland joins other states in educating constituents about the severity of the COVID-19 resurgence happening across the nation and giving them no excuse whatsoever in being uninformed of the state's pandemic safety protocols. In Waldorf, Eagle News correspondent Chay Masaka reports.
Thank you, Alan. A wide-scale compliance, education, and enforcement operation in Maryland kicked off yesterday ahead of the Thanksgiving celebration and will continue throughout the holiday season. This all-hands-on-deck COVID-19 operation aims to slow the spread of the virus and keep Maryland safely open for business. Governor Larry Hogan, acknowledging the growing frustration among Marylanders as they struggle emotionally and financially because of the pandemic, said that following the public health directives is the only way to stop the virus, keep Maryland open for business, and keep hospitals from overflowing. Maryland State Police deployed high-visibility compliance units across the state. They are detailed in several downtown areas, which include Bel Air, Bethesda, Silver Spring, Salisbury, Towson, Fells Point in Baltimore County, and in Allegheny County. Additional state troopers are assigned in every county to work in partnership with local leaders, law enforcement, and other county officials, and will focus on educating public about existing orders and protocols, preventing super spreading events, and taking enforcement actions when necessary. MSP is also operating a 24/7 phone line and email address to support local compliance teams in the field with any questions regarding existing orders and enforcement. With this, Marylanders are encouraged to report any unsafe facilities and activities or any public health order violations and unlawful behavior. The operation is in addition to the state's traditional efforts, ramping up drunk driving patrols and enforcement during the holiday season, giving more attention on sites which host gatherings such as banquet halls, in addition to bars and restaurants. Meanwhile, in his Thanksgiving message, Governor Hogan wished all Marylanders a safe and happy Thanksgiving. He said that although this year's Thanksgiving celebration is different, there's still so much to be thankful for. The governor said he is thankful for the doctors, nurses, first responders, and all the healthcare heroes who have been working round the clock to keep the virus at bay and to save lives. He is also thankful for the scientists who tirelessly work on vaccines and innovative therapeutics. Most of all, Governor Hogan said he is thankful for the continued strength and resilience of the thousands of Marylanders who have made sacrifices to keep each other safe, and for those donating to local food banks, checking on their neighbors, supporting their favorite restaurants through takeout orders and delivery, and supporting each other through this difficult time. In Waldorf, Maryland, Shai Masagka, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Well, I know you have a lot to be thankful for, Chai. Can you tell us what you've done today to express that gratitude?
Well, today, Alan, as a way of expressing our gratitude, we ordered our Thanksgiving meal from one of our local restaurants here in Waldorf. We purposely did not cook anything for Thanksgiving, Alan, so that we could order everything take out from one of the restaurants here. You know, this is also our share of supporting the food business here, who have been hardest hit by this pandemic, Alan. And we are so grateful to them because despite that, Alan, we've seen this the food industry, especially the restaurant owners, they have not stopped helping out, going out of their way to help out, giving food to those who are suffering from food insecurity, feeding those who are in need. So I think it's just right that, you know, we help them by ordering or getting our food take out or by curbside pickups, Alan.
Well, thank you for that report, Chai, and also thank you for your impeccable taste, as I noticed that the color of my shirt and the color of your blouse are closely matched. Thank you, Chai.
I know, right? You have a good taste.
Thank you, Chai. As states clamp down on COVID-19, Las Vegas does so on businesses, as several of them have been cited for COVID-19 safety measure violations. In Las Vegas, Bureau Chief Anna Kui joins us tonight.
Thanks, Alan. Yes, last week, 5 citations for violation of required COVID-19 workplace health and safety measures were issued by Nevada Occupation Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, according to the Nevada Department of Business and Industry. The businesses that were cited were charged with penalties ranging from over $3,400 to almost $8,000 and totaling over $27,000. And these are those businesses: Las Vegas Basketball Center, Integrity Sports Officiating, Ruby Haas, Tarkanian Basketball Academy and IES Residential Incorporated. So some of the violation summary included holding close contact competition basketball games, failure to social distance during breaks and company meetings, customers not wearing face coverings, and employers not using approved disinfectant from the Environmental Protection Agency or EPA list. You know, this is in response to the alarming rise in community spread of COVID-19 cases here in the state. As you know, Alan, the Division of Industrial Relations will focus compliance activities over the next few weeks, especially in counties with the highest reported cases per 100,000, which include Carson City, Churchill, Washoe, and Elko, and also here in Clark County where Las Vegas sits. In addition to that, Nevada Occupation Safety and Health Administration is updating its guidance for employers to reflect the additional restrictions recently announced by Governor Sisolak on Sunday, which took effect on Tuesday, November 24. Nevada OSHA has issued a total of 187 notices of citation and penalty related to violations of required COVID-19 health and safety measures in effect since mid-March. And since inspections began, the Department of Industrial Relations officials have conducted over 2,000 follow-up visits, finding a 96% statewide compliance rate with a 97% compliance rate in northern Nevada and 93% here in the south. Of course, the goal is 100%. During the week, beginning November 16, officials conducted another follow-up visits, close to 160 of them, finding a grocery store in Eureka County to be out of compliance. So the business is subject to additional action and potential citation. In Las Vegas, Anna Cui, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Are these random checks or inspections?
You know, in addition to the normal inspection process that, that Nevada OSHA has, there's actually a hotline that was set up by the Nevada Health Response Team back in July, where employees, they can file anonymously a complaint against their own business. And even the general public can actually call that hotline and report any businesses that they may notice not following the mandates, face coverings, and social distancing. So, they respond to those complaints. And just to give you an idea, since those inspections started back in March, almost 5,000 complaints were received, and 28% of them, concerned were from general retail stores, followed by 17% for restaurants, 8% for medical facilities, 6% from casinos and gaming, and 5% from grocery stores. Alan?
Oh, thank you, Anna, for that report. You stay safe out there in Vegas.
Thank you. You too.
One of 145. That's how many people in LA County are infectious and are possible spreaders of COVID-19. And the holidays, if not spent safely, might just add to that number. In North Hills, Rafaela Meitigno has the details.
Thank you, Alan. Los Angeles announces that 1 out of 145 people in the county is infectious and can spread the virus. With the rising cases of the coronavirus, Los Angeles County tweets, "The holidays are going to be different this year. Don't spend them in the ICU. Wear a mask, keep physical distance, wash your hands, and avoid gatherings to protect yourself and loved ones." County officials are reminding residents that everyone needs to do their part to slow the spread of the virus. They recommend that everyone gathered with family and friends through virtual means to lessen community transmission, as indoor gatherings pose a higher risk of transmitting the virus. If one cannot avoid gathering for the holidays, Los Angeles Public Health informs to keep the gatherings outdoors with a maximum of 15 people and no more than 3 households. They also stress that Angelinos remain home where it is safe during this pandemic and only go outside for needed services. And when shopping at the grocery stores, make sure that you still have the 6 feet physical distancing by staying 2 shopping carts apart. In North Hills, California, Rafaela Tigno, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Rafael, we do hear these instructions a lot from the LA County Department of Public Health. Some people are shrugging it off and just saying that the coronavirus is just like the flu, so no need to take so many precautionary actions. Are there any numbers that can substantiate the statements of the LA public health officials that COVID-19 is a deadly disease?
Yes, Alan. In fact, the Los Angeles Public Health just released the death comparison between COVID-19 and the flu. From March to November of this year, there are 7,363 COVID-19 related deaths compared to 3,133 flu-related deaths, which is more than double. So, Angelinos do need to listen to the statements and recommendation from public health officials. Alan.
Thank you for that report, Rafaela. When we come back, reports from Bakersfield, Woodland Hills, and Fremont, California, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Hindi mo ba alam, mauubos daw ang mga tissue products? Bakit naman? Ang raw materials daw ng mask at tissue products ay iisa lang. Saan naman galing ang balitan yan? Ay basta, narinig ko lang din. Maraming diling kayang nagpo-post sa Facebook at Twitter, kaya kung ako sa'yo, kumuha ka na din. Sige na't mauna na ako sa'yo
Huwag basta-basta magpaniwala
sa mga nakikita
o nababasa sa social media.
Magsaliksik at i-verify ang lahat ng impormasyon
nakukuha sa internet.
Tandaan,
maging responsable tayo
sa paggamit ng social media
nang hindi magdulot ng panic sa iba.
Kung paanong dapat labanan ng COVID-19
ay gayon din ang ating pagsugpo
sa black propaganda
at maling impormasyon.
Dennis Lu,
Lou Amelda,
Luigian Alfartosa,
Tyranel Pililu,
Hannibal Arevalo,
EBC,
Japan, Euro. We live in interesting times.
Okay, saya, saya. Okay, saya, saya.
Yes, yes! Uwi na ang babes ko!
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday.
Upa! Sumukantahan ko pa yan eh. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Happy birthday sa'yo, Cardi.
Happy birthday sa'yo, Cardi.
Saya, saya.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. Fighting food insecurity in the time of pandemic, the city of Los Angeles organizes dozens of grab-and-go events for hundreds of residents as part of its Parksgiving program. Eagle News correspondent Tristan Diaz is with us tonight.
Thank you, Alan. Los Angeles organizes 32 grab-and-go events to provide meals and feasts for hundreds of families throughout the county as part of their Parksgiving program. The pandemic continues to have a great financial impact on Los Angeles residents. Many families struggle to find ways to place dinner on their tables. Food insecurity is on the rise, and various departments on the city and country levels county levels are joining efforts to address the issue and bring this much needed assistance to Angelenos. At 32 park locations in a 2-week time span, Los Angeles County Parks and Recreation hosts drive-through events to give grocery store gift certificates for a free turkey, fresh produce, and dry foods to families who pre-registered to participate. Described as a grab-and-go feast, attendees show a printout or digital copies of their pre-registration receipt, remain in their cars, and sign to confirm their participation to receive their gift certificates and the free food. The events brought a ray of hope and smiles on people's faces in the midst of ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. In Bakersfield, California, Tristan Diaz, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Well, Tristan, this report does bring a glimmer of hope to Los Angeles families during this long holiday weekend. In the midst of an ongoing pandemic, how are the COVID-19 statistics today in Los Angeles?
Yes, Alan, this is a feel-good report today in our battle against the coronavirus. But the COVID-19 numbers released today continue to be quite high. Los Angeles Public Health announces an additional 5,087 positive cases with 37 deaths. Current hospitalizations is now at 1,809, which is an increase of more than 100 since yesterday. Public health officials are being vigilant in their reminders for residents to always wear face coverings and maintaining the 6 feet physical distancing when around other people that are not part of their immediate household, as well as recommending that everyone stay home as much as possible for this long holiday weekend. Back to you, Alan.
Certainly a different way to celebrate, but it's something that we all must get used to. Thank you, Tristan, for your report. COVID-19 infections continue to rise in record numbers across California. In Los Angeles, the city opens San Fernando Park as one of its COVID testing supersites. What's a supersite? Kay Regalado has the answer.
Thank you, Alan. Los Angeles opened San Fernando Park as one of the city's COVID-19 testing supersites in response to surging positive cases in the surrounding communities. San Fernando Park is the 10th location of the city to provide free COVID-19 testing to all Angelenos regardless of symptoms. This was made possible through combined efforts among the mayor's office, Curative, the Community Organized Relief Effort, or CORE, and the Los Angeles Fire Department. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti states, testing remains an essential tool in stopping the spread of COVID-19, tracking the virus, and saving lives. And we will continue to deploy our vital testing resources where the data and science tell us they will do the most good. Our new San Fernando Park site will deliver critical support to a community hit hard by this pandemic and ensure Valley residents know their status and take the necessary steps to protect themselves and those around them. The address of the park is 208 Park Avenue in the city of San Fernando. COVID-19 testing is available Tuesday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. This location is a super site as it will be able to test up to 3,000 people per day, as well as provide 500 free flu vaccines daily to those requesting this additional service. Fred Turner, CEO and co-founder of Curative, says, Curative is honored to be partnering with the City of Los Angeles for the San Fernando Park super site that has COVID-19 testing capabilities on a scale never before seen in this country, providing Angelenos with all the resources they need to protect themselves and others during this current surge of infection. In Woodland Hills, California, Kay Regalado, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Kay, great to hear that Los Angeles is vigilant in this battle against COVID-19 by opening up more testing sites in neighborhoods that's vulnerable to the spread of coronavirus. How is the city of San Fernando in regards to its status in the COVID-19 statistics of LA County?
Alan, the city of San Fernando is actually small in geographical size compared to other cities within the Los Angeles County. Although smaller in size, it is listed on the top of 25 cities and communities within the country for higher 14-day cumulative cases and rates per 100,000 population, according to the recent statistics released by the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. San Fernando has a population of about 24,612 people, and they currently have 190 positive cases, which is about an approximate case rate of 760 positive cases per 100,000 population, which is a bit high for the standards of public health safety. Back to you, Alan.
That's a lot of data, but we do appreciate that report. Thank you very much, Kay. Eagle News correspondent Aika Chung updates us on how Alameda County health leaders are combating COVID-19 testing gaps. Aika.
In Alameda County, we currently have a total number of 28,225 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. Tensions are still high as cases continue to surge throughout the nation. Now, with the Thanksgiving holiday upon us, county officials are worried about the resulting state of the county following the events of this week. County health officials are trying to further their efforts in testing their communities. And with testing that has already been done, it has been noticed that there are those who are suffering disproportionately and are being affected more heavily than others. There are multiple problems that are faced when trying to make testing more accessible to the community. One problem that they are facing is that there are those who may not sign up for testing because they do not trust the vendors at which they schedule their appointments. Some sites and vendors require the person to enter various personal information on which they may not feel comfortable trusting them with. Another problem is that although there may be a large central testing location, some people have difficulty making it to that location. In order to combat these issues, the Public Health Department is working to make testing more accessible, including large-scale testing sites, drive-through sites throughout the county, as well as walk-up sites in neighborhoods. They've also made it so that people are not required to have Gmail accounts, which were required by some testing vendors, and are providing other opportunities to allow the community to opt out of questions they do not feel comfortable answering. With the holiday season among us, it is important for community members to remain vigilant during these difficult times. As we wait for vaccines to be created and distributed, as members of the community, we must continue to remain mindful and adhere to the current health guidelines, such as wearing a mask and social distancing. In Fremont, California, Aika Chong, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Aika. And on to Louisiana, another state trying to combat an increase in COVID-19 infections steps back to phase 2. Nicole Padilla in Baton Rouge files this report.
Thank you, Alan, and hello from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. On Tuesday, November 24, Governor John Bel Edwards announced that Louisiana will step back to phase 2 in order to protect public health due to the increasing COVID-19 cases throughout the state. The updated Phase 2 proclamation took effect on Wednesday, November 25. The governor plans to keep these restrictions in place until the end of the year. It calls for reducing occupancy at some businesses, decreasing gathering sizes, and urging everyone in Louisiana to avoid gatherings with people outside of their everyday households. Cases are increasing. Hospitalizations have climbed back up to more than the highest level since August. It has been reported that the virus has claimed the lives of more than 6,300 Louisiana residents. According to the White House Coronavirus Task Force, Louisiana have a higher than the national average for states concerning the number of new cases per 100,000 people. In addition, Louisiana's statewide mask mandate, which has been implemented since mid-July, will continue. Governor Edwards encourages businesses and state agencies to allow its employees to work remotely if possible. Governor Edwards states that, "I am incredibly concerned by Louisiana's trajectory and our ability to continue to deliver health care to our people if our hospitals are overrun with sick patients. Now is the time to make changes, and stepping back to guidelines that closely resemble our phase 2 restrictions is a tough but necessary step to take in order to protect the public. It is absolutely vital that Louisianans take this third surge of COVID seriously. While there is hopeful news about the development of an effective vaccine, the reality is that we are several months away from being able to widely vaccinate the general population in our state. All of us working together can slow the spread of COVID and flatten the curve. Indeed, we already have twice." In addition, on Wednesday, November 25, Governor John Bel Edwards thanked Louisiana's healthcare workers for their efforts in the fight against COVID-19 through a video message. He acknowledged the healthcare workers and said, "The work and dedication of our healthcare workers is nothing short of heroic, and I am going to do everything in my power to continue supporting them in our mitigation efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19. It is because of their commitment to delivering quality care that more and more families are able to welcome their loved ones back home. Meanwhile, as families across the country are celebrating Thanksgiving under the new normal, LouisianaTravel.com has a variety of Cajun or Creole-inspired recipes to add to your Thanksgiving dinner table. Dishes such as old-time Cajun cornbread casserole, oyster dressing, crawfish mac and cheese, turkey gumbo, and even the famous turducken recipe, which is a turkey stuffed with a duck stuffed with a chicken, and which also originated from Louisiana. See the complete recipe collection on LouisianaTravel.com. Stay safe, Louisiana. I hope you are well there, Alan. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'm Nicole Padilla. Eagle News will live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Crawfish, mac and cheese. Where do I sign up? Thank you, Nicole. A quick getaway to Cancun, Mexico, and a side trip to a salon in Mississippi. That's next. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Ang bawat produkto ng leather ay maituturing na isang obra na mabusising ginagawa.
Matibay po talaga ang leather.
Ginagamit siya pang industrial. Pwede siyang jacket, sapatos, wallet.
Kung mahilig ka sa handicrafts o di kaya ikaw ay may eye for art, maaari mo itong subukan.
Mas marami ngayon hobby na nagiging business.
Pwede pala. Pwede mo siyang gawing negosyo.
Maraming gustong sumuporta sa mga leather crafters.
Kapag natutunan mo to, ako naniniwala ako na aasenso ka.
Ako po, si Robin Padilla, at ito po ang unlad. Kaagapay sa hanap buhay. Kaagapay sa hanap buhay.
Everyone, Net25 Kids is inviting you to EBC Webinars 2020, a series of educational and informative webinars for teachers and parents, which will be live streamed via Net25 Kids YouTube page. We will be featuring several guest speakers with years of experience to share information that would be valuable and helpful for teachers and parents as they educate and manage their children in these interesting times. Hope you will join us! For updates, schedules, and more information, please follow the Net25 Kids Facebook page.
Hello there. Imagine Dami got the virus, and she infected 2 more. And those 2 infected a lot more of people. And it goes on and on until it became an epidemic. But what if Dami stayed at home? Then those 2 wouldn't have contracted the virus. Then those people would have not been infected. This is not just your battle, it's everyone's, and you can be a huge help. Follow social distancing, or better yet, stay at home.
While traditionally the holiday season has been a time for traveling and going on vacation, the pandemic crisis has made that very challenging. Tourist destinations like Cancun have suffered economically from not only the pandemic, but also severe weather like last month's Hurricane Delta. Texas Bureau Chief Jane Kathleen Gregorio takes us to Cancun, which presently is open for travel, as she speaks to both vacationers and workers in the tourism field to discuss both the psychological and economical need for travel for many.
Thank you. Tonight, our story brings us to Cancun, Mexico, where we spoke with travelers and workers in the tourism industry about how they are navigating vacation plans, hospitality, and more amidst the pandemic crisis, the hurricanes, and other challenges during these times. Let's take a look.
For me, it took us kind of being a little bit out of the woodwork. I mean, I live in New Jersey, although I'm from New York, and I wasn't going to travel unless I felt safe.
Still being around people, you're still at risk for exposure. You're still at risk to get sick. I think we made the decision to come out because we've been in quarantine for so long, and we just felt like we'll follow the precautions, we'll stay safe, we'll keep our hands clean and things like that. So that's really, we have to get out. We have to live life. We can't stay locked up in quarantine forever.
I'm a nurse. I wish everyone well and to use the precautions that we've been talking about and implementing the mask. I mean, I'm outside, but I have my mask. But I think the most important thing is that, you know, follow the CDC guidelines of wearing your mask and cleaning your hands and things like that. But really, the goal is you have to follow the precautions to avoid getting the virus. So I really appreciate being on this side because the water is completely blue. So always the good weather, the water, the food has been great, and then of course sistership. This is self-care right here. This is not hearing mother or mom or babe or honey. It is just you being waited on, laying out, sleeping 8 hours on the beach if you like, not having to do anything. So very therapeutic.
Just being at peace. I think overall, our goals on this trip were not to do so many excursions and be out and about, but just relax and rest and relaxation so we could really just enjoy the country, the view, the water, the wind, the ocean.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
Cancun is like a magical place because we depend 100% of the tourism, so it's really hard for us to try to find any other ways for making money or doing our stuff without the people in here.
What's the difference between this year versus last year?
Well, almost all the resorts were closed for at least 2 months, 2.5 months or 3. So basically all the economic activity was stopped. So the airport was closed, and here in Cancun, almost all the people is from different places of Mexico or different places of the world, so everybody went back to their cities because right here there was anything to do and no way to make any money or doing anything. There are some hotels that still closed because they don't have like the occupancy that they need for doing like all the activity as normal as they used to. So there's some places that still closed and some places that closed like forever. So there are some resorts, restaurants, because we depend 100% of the tourism. Normally it's used to be recovering from hurricanes or different kind of things that happen. So right now, what we're doing, we're trying to have like, for example, here at the resort, we have like all the certifications that we can have. So we can be allowed to be working and receiving the people over here. So it's part of the things that like all the states are doing. So they're like trying to get like all the special health and precautions so we can have all the people back in here. Doing a lot of promotions like for flights, for stays and everything. They reduce the prices of a lot of places so we can make the people to come over here.
Well, what compels you to travel even if there's pandemic going on?
Well, one, we have been literally extremely careful. We have been in quarantine since March 13th. But at this point, I think we were just so exhausted of being enclosed and not going anywhere, not doing anything. And we had spoken to some friends and relatives that had been traveling down here, and they told us their experience, and they're taking such good care of everything that's happening here with the COVID rules and so forth. And the social distancing here has been nice, and everything is so clean. And so we thought, well, we just want to get away for a few days. It was close to his birthday, and we wanted to celebrate his birthday somewhere on our own and still social distance and just get out of the house.
Well, when we came in, we knew that it was going to rain, but having the experience in Cancun, we've come before. When it says it's going to rain, it rains maybe for like a couple of hours and then it clears up. So I told Mary, we should be okay. We didn't know that, first of all, a tropical depression was coming in, so we got it Friday night, Saturday morning, and came in with a lot of wind, a lot of rain. And nobody had even looked at the little depression behind it, which was Delta. When we found out about it, they kept on saying that it was a small, very small depression. And then like 3 hours later, they were saying there was going to be category 4.
Hello, my name is Roberto Rodriguez. I'm the hotel manager, and I'm in charge of the shelter of the hotel during this hurricane episode that we have here. We have a shelter here, pretty safe shelter here. This is a result of a lot of experience because we've been living in this area with many experiences like this. So I know we are going to be good. We did all in order to be good, and suddenly tomorrow we are going to be laughing at this.
I was very nervous, and thank God that the hurricane came in a category 2 instead of 4. And we're very blessed, and the hotel treated us amazingly.
So it was scary, but I think the level of care they took of us here, and they were pretty prepared and very organized. We felt okay, better than going to a shelter further inland, because that was the original plan.
Besides the bad weather, it has been amazing. I mean, I'm with my best friend, so we always have a good time no matter what.
So we're taking a lot of security and special health care for you, for everyone. So I recommend you to come over, have fun, and enjoy the beach, the drinks, the food, and everything that we have in here for you.
In Cancun, Mexico, I'm Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you in the studios.
It's interesting to note that some of those vacationers said that they were looking forward to maybe sleeping on the beach for 8 hours, taking less excursions, and really spending their time resting and relaxing, which, if you think about it, you could actually do just from your own home without traveling. However, we suppose if you could choose to do it in paradise, well, who are we to blame you? Thanks again for your report, Jane. One of the most missed business establishments that closed their doors temporarily during the first few months of the pandemic shutdown are the hair salons. When some restrictions eased and salons joined the reopening of non-essential businesses, most of them were booked weeks in advance. Eagle News correspondent Elmarie Gonzalez takes us to a hair salon in Mississippi as she converses with a hairstylist about coping with the impact of the pandemic when it comes to the business. Take a look.
Do you need a new color or hairstyle for your hair? Hey everyone, I am Elmarie Gonzalez, and today I will be sharing with you tips from a very great hairstylist.
Hello, I'm Crystal Kimball. Some know me as Crystal Kimball, some know me as C&K Designs, and some know me as Crystal Kimball, the color specialist. I reside in Olive Branch, Mississippi. I am a color specialist and I bring transformation to the hair. Well, I look at it like this when you say, how did I get started in the hair industry? I call it the industry of art. As I think of my family history, we have a lineage of art, from culinary to home interior decorating to fashion designer to music industry. So when I look at hair, I just find myself falling into that same trend as my family. So instead of calling it the hair industry, I call it the industry of art. Well, I've been in the industry of art for 15 plus years. And what do I love about it the most? I would say building. When it comes down to hair, you start with the outer image, which is building a look that fits the client's personality, the client's facial features. And what I like the most about it, you start off with building an image for their face, but in reality, it's building an image on the inside. And once you build an image for the hair, which transforms them on the inside, I look at it as a total transformation. And when you look at the hair salons, I would rate us as essentials, because a lot of people not only come to the salon just to get their hair done. Again, I would say it's all about building. When you look at stylists, we're more like therapists, we're counselors, we're consultants, and a lot of times when ladies come to the hair salon to get their hair done, they're looking for a total transformation from the inside out. So COVID affected us a lot mentally, and I would say a lot of people went into the state of depression. So one of the ways that I overcame depression is I had to give back into myself what I gave to my clients, and that was building. So I began to build myself up from the inside, which transformed me. So COVID affected people a lot, and what I had to do is just simply build my inner confidence up, build my self-esteem back up. In the salon, we have to wear, as stylists, we have to wear gloves. Wearing gloves can be a little tedious for me, especially when we're doing haircuts and blow dries, because I like to feel my client's hair. But we have to wear gloves. We have to wear gloves while we're blow drying. We have to wear our masks. And that was kind of tedious for me as well, because I'm used to seeing my client's face. I'm used to seeing their smile. I'm used to greeting them seeing my smile. The mask it's kind of hard, because as a stylist, we have to see the facial features to cut the hair, to style the hair, to see how the cheekbones sit, to see if the face is round. So it's a strain, but we're getting used to the new normal in the COVID-19 world. The hottest trend in the industry right now, I would say, will be dimension. When I look at the hair industry in my world, I always welcome dimension. Dimension is welcome in face colors, highlights, balayage, baby lights, you name it. When C&K Designs created Total Transformation, I welcome dimension. So therefore, when you're welcoming dimension, I begin to look at hair as if it's a fashion. Just like once you look at clothes and you're designing your clothes, the new trend out for clothes is color block. So I take that same image as a color block and I do it on the hair. So if a client comes to me and she wants a blonde color, I take and I look at the color wheel and I get an opposite color and I add a few of those colors to create dimension. Once the dimension is created, therefore you will see more blonde. So one of the hottest trends right now in my world would be dimension. My advice for business owners, salon professionals, employees is building. Building a relationship always creates a strong foundation. Building brings a strong establishment, it brings increase, and it strengthens. When you're building, you have to look at it as you have to build through your gift. So you put your gift in operation and you build a relationship with your clients. My gift is in the hair industry to bring transformation to all cultures of life. And when you build, it produces a strong foundation, and it will bring increase in all areas of your life, and it strengthens your environment. I am C&K Designs, creating a new culture for you and your family. If your hair is not becoming to you, then you should be coming to me.
Hope you guys enjoy and like this video. From South Haven, Mississippi, I am Elmarie Gonzalez. Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Part-time counselors, part-time therapists, hairstylists really do provide more than just a cut and color. And we certainly want to show our great gratitude to them for the service they provide, especially during these maddening and distressing times of the pandemic. Elmarie, thank you for the report. And aside from hairstylists, some other folks who are also very much in our thoughts, especially now during the holiday, some of whom we sure are hard at work as we speak, are our healthcare workers, first responders, and essential workers. We want to continue to thank them with a round of applause. We certainly appreciate you. That is today's Eagle News America. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alan Basoyahe. We live in interesting times.
Mga kababayan, tulad ng OFW, kasa at biyaya ang gusto sa ibang bansa. Ang iba ay hindi swerte, bumalik ng walang wala. Hindi mo makikita, bakas ng pagluha.
Ang Pilipino, simple lang ang gusto. Basta't may kwentuhan, tawanan at kantahan. Masasayang tao, mga OFW. Anumang problema ay kayang-kaya, kahit walang pera.
Okay, saya, saya, okay, saya, saya. Tayong lahat ay masaya. Tumawa ng tumawa, dapat laging masaya. Buhay ay gaganda.